Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're going to talk about GitHub Copilot. This is the AI assistant that millions of developers are already using, and honestly, it's completely changing how software gets built.
So let's kick things off with a feeling I bet every single developer out there knows. That kind of deja vu you get when you're writing the same function for, the 100th time? Yeah, that's the daily coding grind we're talking about.
So this whole idea of the daily coding grind, what is it really? Well, it's all that work that's, totally necessary but not exactly creative. It's the stuff that doesn't need that big spark of genius problem solving. You got to do it for sure, but it's what stands between you and the real fun stuff, building something cool and new.
And yeah, you know the culprits. We're talking about writing boilerplate code, endlessly looking up syntax for some API you haven't used in a month, turning a perfectly good idea into actual lines of code, and oh yeah, don't forget writing unit tests and documentation. Look, these aren't just little chores. They are massive time sinks that just drain your energy away from the innovative work.
But imagine for a second, what if you had a partner to take care of all that tedious stuff? A partner that, get this, never gets tired and has basically seen almost every public piece of code ever written. Well, that is the big idea behind GitHub Copilot. All right, so let's break this down. GitHub Copilot is not just a fancy autocomplete. No way. It's a really sophisticated AI tool, a joint effort from GitHub and OpenAI that's been trained on billions, with a B, of lines of public code. So it actually understands the context of what you're working on and gives you suggestions right then and there.
Okay, here's maybe the easiest way to think about it. Coding without Copilot, it's kind of like writing a huge essay by hand, Word by painful word. But with Copilot, it's like you have this brilliant assistant right next to you. You just outline your ideas and boom, it drafts the paragraphs for you, all ready for you to look over.
So, you're probably wondering, how does this actually work in the real world? It's honestly so simple, it's brilliant. All you do is write a comment, just plain English, describing what you want to do, just like this.
In this is where the magic happens. From that one little comment, Copilot doesn't just give you a line of code. No, it generates the entire function. And we're talking the whole shebang, often with things like error handling and caching logic already built in. All you have to do is look it over and say, yep, that's what I want.
Okay, so let's dig a little deeper into how this all works. We're going to look at the key features that make Copilot way more than just a suggestion box. It really is an AI partner that can seriously level up your productivity.
First up, the main event, code suggestions. This is what Copilot is famous for. As you're typing, whether it's actual code or just a comment, it's constantly trying to figure out what you're doing next, and then it offers up a solution right there in your editor.
And the way it does this is super clever. It uses something called ghost text. Basically, the suggestion just shows up as this grayed out text right where you're typing. If you like it, you just hit the tab key. If you don't, just keep typing. It's awesome because there are no annoying pop-ups, nothing to break your concentration. But wait, there's more. It's not just about suggestions anymore. Copilot also has a full-on chat feature. The best way to think about it is like having ChatGPT, but it lives inside your editor and its entire world is your codebase. It knows your files, your functions, everything.
And inside that chat, you get access to these super powerful slash commands. You can highlight a chunk of code you don't understand and just type /explain, and it'll break it down for you. Or /fix to help you with a bug. You can even get it to write /tests or /doc for your functions. It's pretty wild. All right, so we've got all these cool features, but what does it all mean in the real world? What's the actual productivity boost we're talking about here? And maybe just as important, how does it stack up against all the other AI coding tools that are popping up everywhere?
Well, to put it simply, its adoption has been huge. I mean, we're talking millions of developers using it every single day. At this point, it's pretty much become the benchmark. It's the tool that all the other AI coding assistants have to measure themselves against.
But, just because it's the biggest name doesn't mean it's the only game in town. The market for these tools has absolutely exploded. So, it only makes sense to ask, how does Copilot actually compare to the competition?
This chart right here gives us a really good snapshot of the landscape. See, Copilot's main advantages are that it's super easy to use, it's been around for a while so it's mature, and it works in pretty much any editor you already use, all for a pretty low price. But then you have something like Cursor, which is amazing at understanding your entire codebase, but it costs more and you have to use its special editor.
And then there are others like Codium, which are really compelling because they have a great free option.
Okay, so this all leads to the big one, the question that really matters. Is Copilot right for you? Should you make it part of your daily toolkit? Let's talk about where it really shines. For just boosting your day-to-day coding speed, it is an absolute game changer. It's fantastic for spitting out all that boilerplate code, it's a lifesaver when you're trying to learn a new language or framework, and, let's be honest, it's amazing for writing all those unit tests we all know we should be writing more of.
But on the flip side, there are times when you might want to reconsider. For example, if you're just learning to code for the very first time, it's probably better to learn the fundamentals yourself without relying on an AI crutch. Also, if you're working on super secret confidential code, maybe not. Or if your biggest need is an AI that can grasp the entire complex architecture of a huge project, you might look elsewhere.
Now, if you do decide you want to give it a try, getting started is a piece of cake. Seriously, it's just a few simple steps right inside the code editor you're already using. And here's a really cool thing to remember. It's totally free for verified students and for people who maintain popular open source projects.
So if we're going to wrap this all up, here's the key takeaway. GitHub Copilot is basically a productivity multiplier. It's this AI partner that just slots right into your existing workflow, takes care of the grunt work, and frees up your brain to focus on the bigger, more creative, and frankly, more interesting problems.
And that really leaves us with a huge question about the future, right? We're clearly moving past AI just being a tool. We're entering an era of full-on AI partners. So the question isn't really if AI is going to be part of a developer's job anymore. The real question is, how long until an AI pair programmer is considered an absolutely essential, non-negotiable part of every developer's toolkit?